Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Listen, the Republicans have to learn to win. To win. We should be taking a victory lap right now about the successful legislation in Georgia to clean up elections. But no, outside of the people listening to the show and the sane Republicans, most Republicans in the swamp are busy apologizing, trying to pretend that the whole racist thing is real. This is just such incredible garbage. I can't believe we're falling for this again. We got to learn to win. I'm going to explain that today, and I want to relate it to a quote I saw in a movie. Today's show brought to you by ExpressVPN. Stand up for your digital rights today. Get a VPN. Go to expressvpn.com/Bongino. Welcome to the Dan Bongino Show. Let me get right to that. Also, if you did not see the incredible piece by Charles Barkley, the round mound of rebound, former Philadelphia 76er and Phoenix Sun, you missed it. We'll get to that too. Well, you won't miss it because you'll see it today on the show. All right. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Brickhouse Nutrition. Here it is, right there. Field of Greens. What is it? Well, listen, life's about habits. This year, we've been more focused than ever on our health, right? How do you plan to ensure your body's immune system is ready for the winter and beyond? Well, I can tell you what I do. I take Field of Greens by Brickhouse Nutrition every day. This one's empty. I have a couple in my fridge because I take it twice a day. I throw in a little green tea, sometimes some V8. What is it? Well, it is loaded with antioxidants. Field of Greens is packed with 18 clinically researched essential fruits and vegetables, plus green tea, ginger, turmeric, and beets. This powerful combination not only supports heart health, supports a healthy immune system, metabolism, blood pressure, and digestion. I'm reading my own. Get rid of this, Key. Don't even worry about it. Here's how you get it first. Go to brickhousenutrition.com, poor Guy, brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Get 15% off your first order. What is this stuff? It's just darn good. Look at the back. It's ground up, healthy, wholesome fruits and vegetables. You notice what it says on the back and the label there? It says nutrition facts. Why does it matter? Because it doesn't say supplement facts, because it's not a supplement. This is whole ground up fruits and vegetables. I love it. I take it twice a day. I swear by it. Get yours today. Don't wait. Get all the benefits of a healthy diet in a couple of scoops. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Get 15% off your first order today. brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Do yourself a favor. Don't wait. You're going to love this stuff. Field of Greens. I like the wild berry flavor, but they're both good. All right, Joe, let's go. Poor Guy. Poor guy. I'm telling you, man, I am like a hellion on the whole production crew here. Yeah, Paula too, and Joe. So, I'm watching Moneyball this week. You ever see the movie Moneyball or you read the book? It is a true story. It is about the Oakland Athletics GM in the 90s and 2000s, Billy Beane. Billy Beane was a phenom. He was drafted in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft by the New York Mets, was considered a can't-miss prospect, was supposed to be the next Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, and Billy Beane's career in the major leagues did not pan out, only lasted a few years, and he blew up. So Billy Beane, from that point on, what does this have to do with trust me, stay tuned. Billy Beane became skeptical of traditional scouting from that point on. Why? Because he was scouted by Major League Baseball scouts and was deemed a can't-miss prospect, and he missed himself. So when he became a general manager, he was looking for a better way. So there's this scene in the movie Moneyball where Billy Beane starts looking at statistics and sabermetrics and all these other stats for analyzing players rather than people's feels about how they are. And he's sitting around a table with these scouts, right? And the scout keeps telling Billy how this guy's a good hitter. And Billy Beane looks at him, played by the Brad Pitt character, and he says, well, if he's a good hitter, then why doesn't he hit good? I couldn't get that out of my mind all weekend. I'm serious. You're like, well, what does that have to do with any of this you're talking about today? I kept thinking in my head, if we're good conservatives, then why don't we do good conservative stuff? And when we do good conservative stuff, why are we always apologizing for it? Pretty simple question, right? If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? If we're conservatives, then why are we consistently embarrassed? Not you, the swamp rats in the GOP in Washington, D.C. Why are we consistently embarrassed and not going on the offensive about doing good conservative stuff? What's good conservative stuff? Expanding freedom and opportunity, expanding economic liberty, expanding school choice, expanding healthcare options, controlling government spending so that there's a free, vibrant, robust individual economy. You can't have big individuals and big government at the same time. Big government, small individuals. Big individuals, small government. You can't have big government, big individuals at the same time. And then when we do things like expanding voting rights in Georgia, expanding the number of hours, expanding the number of days of early voting, and then making it harder to cheat by implementing a voter ID system, why are we constantly on the defensive? We're not racist. What the hell is that about? If we're good hitters, then why don't we hit good? Ladies and gentlemen, we have to learn to win. We have to start taking a darn victory lap after this stuff and cut the crap with these Democrat lunatics and their media buddies. We expanded access to voting in Georgia. We made it more difficult to cheat. Now, you may say, well, maybe a loose tie-in between the quote from Moneyball and the Georgia story. Well, there was a reason for it. I've been thinking about baseball all weekend because of the story in the Epic Times. Major League Baseball boycotted Georgia because of the Georgia expanded voter rights law. Major League Baseball boycotted Georgia a day after expanding a deal with China by Ivan Penchikov. Epic Times. Story will be in my newsletter, bongino.com/newsletter. Please subscribe. We're almost at 600,000 subscribers to my newsletter. It's all free. So just to be clear, we expanded voting rights in Georgia, expanded hours, expanded the number of days of early voting, and codified in the law the use of ballot boxes as long as they're secure. All we asked was for some semblance of voter ID. So if you vote, you're actually the person voting. Very controversial to Democrats because they don't want the person who says he's voting. They want everybody to be able to vote for them. Apparently, why else would you object to voter ID? Now, I'm telling you, it's time to go on the offensive and stop with this defensive nonsense. And it's time to start winning and taking victory laps and learning how to win because we did the right thing. It's time to go on the offensive and take it to the left and state the obvious point up front, and that is this. If you object to the recently signed Georgia voter integrity measure, if you listen, it's going to be tough for you to hear. If you object to it, then I'm sorry. You are the racist. Oh, you can't say that. I can say whatever I want, and I just did because it's true. We expanded voter access, and the only thing you're objecting to is voter ID because of one of two reasons. Number one, you want to cheat, so you don't want someone you don't want any measure to secure that the person who says they're voting is actually that person. The only reason you wouldn't want that is because you want to cheat. That's it. Period. Verdict is in. Full stop. You're a cheater, number one. Or number two, you are a total racist. Stew on that one. We'll take a little break. I'm just kidding. Stew on that for a minute. You are an absolute racist. Why? Because all of these lunatics in the media are really having a tough time, especially the Major League Baseball. By the way, Major League Baseball, clearly racist. Clearly. They're having a tough time articulating why Black and Hispanic voters, they believe, are not smart enough to get a voter ID to vote or to attach a utility bill or include the last four digits of their social security number, which is all you have to do to vote. Guy, Joe, anyone? Is there another explanation? Am I missing anything?
You're pretty good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just checking here.
Right.
So your take is, because remember, liberal media lunatic talking points on this thing, including the racist Major League Baseball Association, is what? Is that this law discriminates against Black and Hispanic voters because they're not smart enough to include the last four digits of their social security number or utility bill or their driver's license number because they can't figure it out. You're a racist. I'm dead serious. I'm not kidding. I'm not playing identity politics. You are a hardcore racist, and it is time for Republicans to go on the offensive. Anyone who opposes this law based on that measure wants one of two things. You're either a cheater or a hardcore racist. That's it. Do not give them any out. And if they dare try to wiggle out of that, ask them to explain why they don't think Black American citizens and Hispanic American citizens can figure out the last 4 digits of their social, where they live on a utility bill, or what their driver's license number is. Please explain to me now. I will wait. Sorry, a little excited for a Monday morning. My sincerest apologies. You are the racist. You're it. You're the racist. Major League Baseball is populated by racists while profiting off the athletic skills of Black and Hispanic athletes. Major League Baseball are hardcore racists. And by the way, if you think anything I'm saying is controversial, please explain to me again in a sane, coherent sentence using the English language, if possible, why you think Black and Hispanic voters are too stupid to figure out what their driver's license number is or what the last 4 digits of their social are. I'll wait. I think we only have 7 seconds on terrestrial radio before it kicks to a best of, so I can't wait too long. Guy, you have any explanation why that would be? Guy's curious too, because Guy's actually not a racist. So Guy's wondering why they think that. I know Joe, I've already spoken to Joe. I know Joe's curious about this too. We don't get it. Why Major League Baseball profits off the athletic skills of Black and Hispanic athletes and yet discriminates against them at the same time, suggesting they're too dumb to figure out their driver's license number. You want to learn to win? This is how we win. The gavel goes down. Just blew up my Adobe Audition. That's how we win. This is how we take a victory lap. We just cleaned up Georgia elections, gave the voters in Georgia more opportunities to vote, and the only objections to it are hardcore racists. End of story. Stay right on point. Look at the racists in Major League Baseball. Let me go to a screenshot from that piece. Major League Baseball, which has no problem dealing with the communist Chinese government, a group of totalitarian terrorists running the country. No problem there. But yes, God forbid you expand voter access in Georgia. We can't have that. Here, from the Epoch Times piece. Chinese state media reported on April 1st, that's this year for the liberals listening, that Major League Baseball will continue to be aired on a streaming platform operated by Tencent, which has significant ties to the Chinese Communist Party. Oh, I thought they cared about human rights. Tencent's one of the Chinese companies that temporarily dropped the NBA as a form of censorship after former Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey spoke out in support of the pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. Major League Baseball, no problem, jumps right in with this company. Then on April 2nd, the day after the announcement of the Chinese deal, Major League Baseball moved its All-Star game out of Atlanta, Georgia, in response to a set of election reforms signed by the governor. Major League Baseball commissioner, I'm going to add this, and loser, Robert Manfred, said in a statement that the move would demonstrate our values as a sport. So your values are getting into bed, jumping right into bed, caressing and massaging the Chinese Communist Party, giving them a whole lot of love, but pulling out of the state of Georgia because they increased voter access, and you're racist because you think black people can't figure out how to get a voter ID. I am not happy. I'm sorry to, I just, why are we not taking a victory lap? Why? Why are we falling into these garbage political narratives every time and not calling these people out for who they are? Phonies. By the way, back to Billy Beane. By the way, I don't even know Billy Beane's politics, and I don't care. I'm just telling you, this line from a movie's a good one. If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? And I'm going to put you on the ropes right here too. And I'm very sorry. I don't like to call out anyone because I've got a diehard audience full of patriots who do the right thing. But if you're a listener of the show and you're still watching baseball or buying their products after this, you're not helping yourself out. I'm not here to lecture you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're all big guys and big gals. But if you want to be a good hitter, you got to hit good. And if you want to be a good conservative, you got to do conservative things. These Major League Baseball stadiums should not have one conservative left sitting in there. You want to be around a bunch of snowflakes? You want to be around a bunch of lying racists who think black people aren't smart enough to present a picture ID? Let them cater to the 40% of America that considers themselves radical leftists. Not one more dime. Folks, listen, I'm sorry. If we don't take a stand, it's over. There's nothing left. By the way, I saw this on Congresswoman Nancy Mace's social media account. This was fascinating. Major League Baseball, they stand on principle. They're all about principle as they're in bed with the Chinese Communist Party, yet attacking the free state of Georgia for expanding voter access, right? Here's MLB.com. So will call for the liberals listening. That means when you show up at the will call window to pick up tickets someone left for you, sometimes a player does it with the family or someone bought you tickets or whatever, you go to the will call window. Most of you haven't been to a baseball game if you're liberals because you don't like that kind of stuff. But if you do ever show up, this is a fascinating policy. The person will need a picture ID to pick up their tickets. Totally racist. If you're Major League Baseball, this is a racist policy, right? Because you're suggesting that voter ID is racist. So clearly an ID to pick up tickets is racist too, is it not? And your argument, by the way, leftist lunatics, which I've seen on social media that, well, voting is a right, picking up tickets isn't. Exactly. If it's important enough to pick up tickets using a voter ID, you would think it would be important enough to produce an ID to actually vote. It's not the argument you think you're making, you dunces. It's the opposite argument. You can't have it both ways, Rob Manfred from Major League Baseball. Is a picture ID racist or not? How are you taking care of your black fans? You don't think they're smart enough to get a picture ID, so how are they going to pick up their tickets? Bunch of racists. Folks, it's time to double and triple down here. It's action time. Action time. Time to do. The talk is over. It's do time. Do. No more talk. Do. It's time to do stuff. We all have to do stuff. It's a call to action. Don't spend another dollar at a Major League Baseball game. Don't tune into it. Shut it off your TV. I'm very sorry. I know it stinks. I used to like baseball and football myself. I've watched one game, I think, in 5 years. But here's another suggestion for the local Republican and conservative clubs out there and the sane Democrats who want to fight back against this nonsense. It's time to protest outside of Major League Baseball games. First, let me recommend you bring this guy. I love this guy. I think there are a few T-shirts made about this guy. And the word bleeped out at the end rhymes with mass scroll, if you know what I mean. Check this out.
Have you seen Donald Trump? Do you think he should step in?
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is...
Let's bring him. He seems to have it right. Thank you, Joe, for beeping that out at the end.
Certainly,
we are
sir.
on terrestrial radio. Man, appreciate that. Let's bring him outside of me. I'm not kidding. Let's find people like him. That's a Hong Kong protester warning Donald Trump. That was from about a year ago, about the dangers. He's only in Hong Kong where people are being beaten by the police force in Hong Kong because China is there not only trying to stop people from voting, but stop them from protesting as they put them in jail. Here, you can check that out if you don't believe me. If you want to watch on Rumble, you can actually see the video. That sound in the background is a bunch of people in Hong Kong getting their cabooses beaten alive by a bunch of police over there because they dared to protest in the streets. I'm sure Major League Baseball will speak out about that one. I'm just waiting. Maybe we should bring screens outside of Major League Baseball games and play that on loop. Maybe you should wear shirts to baseball games. MLB supports the CCP. That's how we win. Got to learn to win. Got really good at apologizing. We're not getting good at winning. And we won because freedom and liberty won, and free and fair elections. All right, let me get to my second sponsor. And on the other side of this, I want to get to Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, former power forward for the Philadelphia 76ers and the Phoenix Suns. Charles Barkley with a moment of genius on national television. Before we get to that, let me get to our friends at Raycon. I don't know about you, but I always feel like I'm looking at a screen. Whether you're an avid news watcher or a serious need of a distraction, unplugging yourself is easier said than done. One of my favorite ways to rest my eyes and get the content I'm itching for is by putting in my Raycon wireless earbuds and listening to something great. These are actually mine right there. I think they need a little charge. I've been using them a lot, but they fit right in. Check them out. Pretty sleek, huh? Or the only ones that stay in my ear. I love them. Whether catching up on your favorite podcast, binging an audiobook, or powering through a workout, or listening to some sweet tunes, a pair of Raycons in your ear makes all the difference. I use them on planes, trains, automobiles, working out, running around, conference calls. They have no dangling wires and no stems to get in your way. Raycons come in a range of stylish colorways, but always with a comfortable in-ear fit for a more discreet look. You know those thingies hanging out. I hate that. Raycons are built to perform anywhere, anytime with water and sweat resistant construction and Bluetooth that pairs quickly and seamlessly. I did it like that. It's got enough battery life for 6 hours and playtime. You can unplug for a while. The best part, Raycon makes great sound accessible to everyone with wireless earbuds starting at half the price of other premium audio bands. Plus, check them out. They just look pretty cool, right? Come on, you're not going to find a better pair anywhere. Raycon's offering 15% off all their products for my listeners, and here's what you got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon, RAYCON.com/Bongino. That's it. You'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order, so feel free to grab a pair and a spare. I have two. Keep one in my bag. That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/Bongino, buyraycon.com/Bongino. Check them out today. I love them. They sound absolutely amazing, too. All right. So the round mound of rebound, which was Charles Barkley's nickname when he played in the NBA, Charles was a beast in the NBA. I mean, one of the most dominant players I have ever seen in my life. I used to be a big NBA fan before they went wokeitarian too. So Charles was on one of his national sports shows this weekend and brought up the point, again, that I've been making this entire time. If he's a good hitter, then why doesn't he hit good? Well, if we're good conservatives, why aren't we fighting a good conservative fight? We should be taking a victory lap. Why are we letting the Democrats use the race card all the time when the Democrats are the actual racists? And why are the Democrats actually using the race card all the time? Don't listen to me. Listen to Charles. He nails it. Check this out.
Man, I think most white people and black people are great people. I really believe that in my heart. But I think our system is set up where our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, are designed to make us not like each other so they can keep their grasp of money and power. They divide and conquer. I truly believe in my heart most white people and black people are awesome people, but we're so stupid following our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. And their only job is, hey, let's make these people not like each other. We don't live in their neighborhoods. We all got money. Let's make the whites and blacks not like each other. Let's make rich people and poor people not like each other. Let's scramble the middle class. I truly believe that in my heart.
Holy Moses, Joe, how many times have I said this on the show? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, brother. You bet.
He's clapping. Joe's clapping. Everybody's clapping here. How many times have I said that on the show? That the Democrats have nothing. They have that. And by the way, Republicans, although I'll say often, and I will repeat this, this is Dan Bongino, I think golden rule number 2.5, not really sure. The golden rule is this. Although Republicans may not be the solution to all your problems, Democrats are almost always the cause of all your problems. I know our Charles has to throw in Republicans here, but you rarely see Republicans throw the race card. When Republicans claim racism, like I just did, they mean it. They mean it. Insisting that black people are too stupid to get a voter ID is racist. It is a racist statement. It's not soft bigotry. It's hard bigotry. Your skin color is black, so you're clearly too dumb to get a voter ID. That is a racist thing to say. Do people not know that that's race? How do you not know that's not race? Are you missing it? That's clearly racist. We don't throw the race card. The Democrats do. When we claim racism, we mean it because it's true. I have been saying this forever. The Democrats do not have anything. They can't. Oh, gosh, listen to me on this one, please. Their agenda is garbage. It will never garner 51% national support. Give us all your money through confiscatory taxes. Send your kids to crappy public schools. No school choice. We want the government to run your health care, despite the fact we can't even run the Department of Motor Vehicles. And we want to put a bunch of red tape on your business so you got to pay lawyers to open a business. That's not a campaign slogan, folks. So what do the Democrats do? Well, if you can't run on anything, you just make sure the people you're trying to get a vote from hate the other guys more. Yes. Yes, that's it. What Charles just said, whether he knows it or not. Get the voters out there to hate the Republicans so much. If you're a union worker, Republicans are coming after you. If you're black, Republicans are coming after you. You're an immigrant, Republicans are coming after you. You're Asian, Republicans are coming after you. You're Muslim, Republicans are definitely coming after you. You're Jewish, definitely coming up. All this stuff is made up. They don't run on anything because their agenda is garbage. Nobody wants to pay more taxes, send their kids to crap schools, or let a government bureaucrat decide when their chest is cracked open. No one. Nobody believes that. No sane person. So because they can't run on that, they run on the other guy's far worse. That's why they do. Charles, whether he gets it or not, that's what he's saying. Black people against white people, men against women. We're not doing this. Good conservatives run on good conservative ideas. Freedom, liberty, justice for everyone. Forget skin color, sex, sexual orientation, whatever. None of that matters. You have been granted with God's hand on your shoulder a series of God-given big R rights. And until you violate the rights of others, you're free to exercise them, whether I agree with them or not. Liberals don't believe any of that. You don't believe, again, whether Charles understands, he throws Republicans in there, probably because he had to. But that's not true. Republicans don't play the race card. They call out actual racism. Democrats make up racism charges all the time to make black voters believe Republicans hate them. Here's one I saw this weekend. This is a real video. This is not a comedy show. Here's a woman on this show. She happens to be black. It's a largely black audience. Talking about, incredibly, how diets are racist. This is not a joke. This was real. Check this out.
You can't get access to good health care, good insurance. The research says that black women, when we do the same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower, even when we're following the diet, than our white women counterparts. And what public health practitioners think is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
Oh, dude. It was interesting. Guy said, what? Guy never talks. Joe's like, huh? I'm like, what? Carbs are racist now? Is Atkins racist? Folks. Again, do you hear Republicans talking like this? I agree with everything Charles said. Politicians do sick us all against one another for political power reasons, but including Republicans in that is hilariously stupid. I get he had to do it. You got to seem like you're criticizing both sides. And believe me, I do. I can't say it enough, the golden rule. Republicans are not the answer to all your problems, but Democrats are almost definitely the cause of them. What is this? Diets are racist now? 2 points about Charles Barkley's video there. These things matter. Please don't be one of those Republicans who's 10 years behind on the culture war, who thinks, oh, it's just Charles Barkley. What does he know? Listen, Charles Barkley is, I don't know if he's a conservative, a Republican, a Democrat, or a liberal. I don't care. Charles Barkley has something you and I don't if you're a conservative. Think about it. What is it? He has cultural capital. You don't have that. Doesn't mean you're not smart. Doesn't mean you're not a good person. Doesn't mean you're not moral. And it doesn't mean you're not right. Conservatives are on the right moral arc of history. It just means the culture is dominated by entertainers, athletes, elitists, academics, media people, and people like AOC. They are the culture figures. You doubt it? Have a liberal show up at CPAC and watch. It's the safest place in America. You show up to, a Netroots rally or one of those liberal places and advertise that you're a conservative. Watch how quickly you're tossed out of there in your caboose. Why? Because liberals have cultural capital and you're not welcome. What was it, Andrew Breitbart, who said politics is downstream of the culture? Smartest damn thing he ever said, and he said a lot of smart stuff. Until you have people with cultural capital like Charles, who people to listen to outside of the conservative movement, saying these types of things, nothing's ever going to change. The second takeaway is what I told you before, that you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, the reason they sick us against one another is because libs have nothing else. They have nothing else. They are bankrupt on ideas. They have tried to take your money with high taxes. It hasn't worked. They have spent us into oblivion. It hasn't worked. They have tried to tell you public schools are better. They're not. They have tried to tell you government-run healthcare is a panacea. It isn't. Nothing they're telling you is true, and people know it. The only thing they have going forward is vote for us over them because the other guy hates you. That's all they have. By the way, if any of that was actually true, because they don't give Americans enough credit, liberals, that is. Again, they think black and Hispanic voters are stupid. They do. Insisting that black and Hispanic voters can't figure out what their driver's license number is a racist statement. Full stop. No caveats, no asterisks. That is and you are a racist if you believe that. You're a hardcore racist, by the way, if you believe that. Now, unlike what liberals believe about black or Hispanic voters, black and Hispanic voters are actually pretty smart. I know that's a stunner to liberals, not to us. And if any of this is true, that Republicans are the racists because they want people who vote to actually be the person that votes, oh my gosh, so controversial, then why is it that this story, read this in my newsletter today, please. Again, Bongino.com/newsletter. Subscribe there. This story is worth your time. Daily Mail, longest headlines ever. Donald Trump's share of the Latino vote surged to nearly 33% in the 2020 election. A sharp increase from 2016 when he won just 18%, study finds. Oh my gosh, how did such a hardcore racist nearly double his vote percentage amongst Hispanic voters? Because Hispanic voters are smart, unlike you dunces on the left who treat them like idiots. Maybe if you treated Hispanic voters and Hispanic families like mine, I'm Italian, Irish, and German. My wife is Colombian. My kids are half Colombian, whatever, or Americans, whatever the hell that all means. I refuse to put anybody in boxes. But we're a little smarter than you give us credit for. I assure you, my wife, who is an extremely talented, beautiful, wonderful internet and web developer, who in her 20s was the vice president of a major company, who was an immigrant from Colombia. I'm pretty confident my wife can figure out that DL number on the driver's license means driver's license number. I know you liberals think she's stupid because she's Colombian. She's really smart. And I've got another news flash for you. She's a lot smarter than you idiots. The liberals, that is, who treat her like a moron. You wonder why she's a Republican? Just ask her. Ask my mother-in-law, even better. You want to hear why she's a Trump supporter? Oh, get ready. All right, let me get to my third sponsor. On the other side of this, here's what's coming up. I'm a little tired about the misinformation on the immigration front. I filled in for Jesse Waters, had a debate with Jessica Tarloff and Sean Duffy, and Jess, again, just said something that's not true. I mean, they just keep repeating the talking points to the left. Facts be damned. Getting a little tired of it. All right, let me get to my third sponsor, and then I got a video that should Should bake your bagels a little bit too. People are starting to fight back, folks. Remember, if you're a good hitter, then you got to hit good. Some people are starting to hit good. Living with chronic pain? That's the worst. I live with it all the time. I was just complaining all weekend to my wife. My shoulders and elbows are absolutely killing me. It's more than just discomfort. It affects your whole life. Relaxing, sleeping, exercising, all of it. You're always thinking about it. If you're living in, listen to me, if you're living in chronic pain, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a horror show. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's horrible. If you're looking to get rid of nagging muscle and joint pain immediately while providing long-lasting recovery, then you need to try the natural breakthrough pain relief solution. Try this stuff. This stuff is no joke. Cryo-Freeze CBD Roll-On developed by Omax Health. This non-prescription triple-action pain relief roll-on. It's specially formulated to block pain receptors, reduce inflammation, and improve muscle and joint flexibility. Listen, it straight up works. I use it on my elbow, my left shoulder when they're steaming hot. And I mean steaming hot like in pain. My wife uses it on her neck. It's 100% natural. Natural CBD-powered remedy. It works its magic within 10 minutes of application. Relief lasts up to 8 hours. For me, it lasts all day. Much longer than over-the-counter products. Omax Health is offering my listeners 20% off a full bottle of Cryo-Freeze CBD Pain Relief Roll-On. The discount also applies towards any product site-wide. Just go to omaxhealth.com today. omaxhealth.com. Enter code Bongino. That's omaxhealth.com. Enter code Bongino. Get 20% off Cryo-Freeze and site-wide. Pro athletes like Kyle Stanley use Cryo-Freeze CBD to recover both on and off the course. They have 95% 5-star reviews. These people love this stuff because it's just straight up good. People say they've tried everything, and Omax Cryo-Freeze is so good they're now buying it for their family and friends too. I have tons of it in the house. Guy, I got to get you one, all right? Remind me by the end of the day. Seriously, I give Guy a couple of stuff to try out too. Joe, I'd give it to you too if you were closer. I'm telling you, this product's the real deal. Go to omaxhealth.com, enter code Bongino, get 20% off site-wide. You'll love it. You roll it on, and icy cool feeling right away. Pain's gone for me like that. omaxhealth.com, enter code Bongino. All right. So, liberals live a lie. They wake up every morning. It's life is confusing to them. They think Ron DeSantis is the worst governor in the country, despite one of the best records on coronavirus. They think the Georgia law is racist, despite them being racist themselves by insisting black people don't know how to read a driver's license number. Liberals think a lot of things. They think immigration is just under control right now and fine. There's no border crisis at all. Matter of fact, most of the families entering the United States illegally, don't worry, folks, they're all being deported and no one's being transported into the United States despite being here illegally. Wrong. Did I say 5 or 6 things? Don't know. I'll throw an extra one in there in case I missed one. So the hard reality, ladies and gentlemen, is most families are not being deported and people are being released into the United States. Of course, I always bring the receipts because receipts matter. Newsletter today. Read this article, The Epic Times, by Charlotte Cuthbertson. Majority of families crossing into the border are released into the United States. I thought Jessica Tarloff on the show, I was filling in for Waters, told me they weren't. Gosh, what happened? Well, because I do actual numbers. Numbers matter. Not to get personal there, Jess, but numbers matter. If you're going to say something on television, you probably should be able to back it up with some actual data. From the Epic Times piece. Because your liberal friends will tell you that. No, don't worry. The border's under control. People are being deported who are coming into the country. They are? Quote, now the vast majority, upwards of 85% of family units who are apprehended by Border Patrol after crossing the border illegally are quickly, what does that say, Joe? Deported? No, it says are quickly released into the United States.
Yes.
Wow. That is really strange. Because I was told by leftists, including on Saturday, filling in for Jesse, I was told that most of these people are being deported and are not being released into the United States. Dan, we need numbers. I got them because that's what I do. I love numbers and facts and stuff. From the Epic Times piece. Of the 2,200 individuals within family units who were apprehended, 1,900 were released, while 300 were processed under Title 42 to be expelled, the official said. 2,200 apprehended for entering the country illegally, 1,900 released into the United States. That doesn't sound to me like most families are being deported after breaking the law. I don't know. I'm just doing numbers. 85% or so. I'm just doing numbers. But again, liberals wake up every morning and their lives are a complete lie. This show is my goal from the start of this show is for you to listen for an hour and never lose an argument to your leftist friends again, because nothing they tell you is true. Don't worry, under control. It's a conspiracy theory. People are not being released in the United States. Actually, 2,200 people entered, 1,900 were released into the United States. It's a conspiracy theory. No, you're just an idiot. I'm really sorry. Dan, you're not going to convince liberals by calling them idiots. Then don't be idiots. If you want to be a good hitter, you got to hit good. If you want to be a good idiot, say idiot things. Like, no, border's totally under control. Everybody's being deported. They are? Maybe you should read the data. Data, it kind of matters. So, folks, when I was in high school, I had a really good AP history teacher. I went to Archbishop Malloy High School in Queens. It was a great high school. It was all boys at the time. It's co-ed now. We used to stand up for lunch, too, which was weird. I have to tell you. I think my sophomore year, they changed that. But back then in high school, we had a dean of discipline, Brother Roy. And that Brother Roy, he was quite the guy. You didn't mess around with Brother Roy. If you went to Malloy in those days, you knew who Brother Roy was. I'll never forget this. I got into a fight once at a bus stop. This kid had accused me of stealing his Tropical Fantasy. No, not like a dream. That was a drink in New York. It was called Tropical Fantasy. It was basically colored sugar water. And we got into a little fight, and I think I busted his nose up. And the bus driver it was a New York City bus, of course. It wasn't like a school bus. We didn't have those. Called the school and described me, and I got pulled out of class. And yeah, Brother Roy scared me so much, I may have needed some Depends on that. But getting back to the topic, I had an AP history teacher he was a Democrat, but he was a really smart guy. And he used to say to me that the reason you'll never have any kind of systemic, real fight back in the United States, I mean, really, like any kind of overthrow of the government, it's a good thing, obviously. I mean, we want to pursue peaceful routes to change always. I think that's self-evident. If you're a Republican, Antifa and the BLM terrorists don't seem to care about that. But he said the reason you won't see that is because we have a middle class. And he would say that, and he was right. Think about this. The middle class, they have everything to lose. They have kids in schools, jobs to lose. They don't want to give up the fact that they live at least a decently comfortable life in the richest country on earth. The only people who become really, really active in the activist front and start speaking out are people who have everything to lose. Like the people in Hong Kong right now who are being beaten in the streets for supporting just the right to live freely. The Hong Kong and the beating in the streets. The Major League Baseball supports that Chinese government, the Communist Party doing that. I just throw that in there. But people are losing everything. And when people in the middle class become people who are poor because their businesses and everything else is shut down, you're going to start to see mass numbers of people fight back. Well, you may have seen this over the weekend. Some of you may not have. It was a busy Easter weekend. But I want to show you this video of a pastor in Calgary, Pastor Artur Pawlowski. Well, his church was invaded by armed police officers because they were daring to worship over that Easter holiday weekend. God forbid you did that in now communist Canada. Well, the pastor had had about enough of that. And this is what happened. Check this out.
Please get out. Get out of this property. Immediately get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately. I don't want to hear a word. Out. Out. Out of this property immediately until you come back with a warrant. Out. 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 Out of this property. Immediately out. Immediately go out and don't come back. I don't want to talk to you. Not a word. Out of this property. out of this property, immediately out. I don't care what you have to say. Out! Out! Out of this property, you Nazis! Out! Out! Gestapo is not allowed here. Immediately, Gestapo is not allowed. Out! Do you understand English? Get out of this property.
Got goosebumps. You're going to see more of that. Bankrupt people, destroy their lives, prevent them from showing up at a church or a synagogue, a mosque, whatever it may be, and practicing their faith. One of the fundamental God-given big R rights we all have. Preventing them from assembling, preventing them from petitioning their government, bankrupting them, canceling them because they're conservatives. How much longer do you think that's going to go on before you see more of this and people just say, no, not today. I want to be a good hitter, so I'm gonna hit good. I'm going to fight back. Leave right now. You have a warrant? Come back. But not today. It's exhausting. I have to tell you, I never thought we'd be living at a time like this, ever. I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I never thought we'd be living at a time where you would use the excuse of a pandemic that, yes, but there are mitigation measures we can take and have taken and have successfully taken. And there's a vaccine out there that you would attempt to invade a church with police officers to stop people from practicing their religion. I never in a million years thought we'd see that. But it's here. All right, let me get to my last sponsor. And on the other side of this, I got to take a little bit of a humor break. This has been a really serious show. Have you know John Boehner? Remember John Boehner, our failed former Republican majority leader, speaker? Remember Johnny B? Well, John Boehner has a book coming out. And while recording his audio book, it's alleged that, John Boehner may have had a few drinks or something or whatever it may be. And while recording the audio book, he would go off on these tangents at the end about Ted Cruz while recording the book that were not in the book, by the way. I got an audio you got to hear right after. Check this out for our last sponsor, our friends at We the People Holsters. Listen, last year, over 5 million citizens decided to join the Second Amendment family. I want each and every one to pick up the finest holsters in the business. We the People Holsters. This is mine right here. It's for my Glock 43. You can see it. Precision molded, by the way. Starting at just $40. We the People Holsters are custom molded. You hear that? To fit your exact firearm for a quick, smooth draw and a nice, secure click on the way in. They have thousands of options to choose from, including printed ones, including a line with real tree camouflage. While you're there, check out their complete line of patriotic tees, tumblers, and their new EDC tactical gun belt, which comes with the patented Cobra buckle. This is mine. This is my actual We the People holster. You notice it says We the People on it. Every holster and gun belt comes with a lifetime guarantee. If it's not a perfect fit, just send it back, get a full refund. Show your support for the show and this great American company. Go to wethepeopleholsters.com/Dan right now. You will not see a finer holster. You see a better holster out there, a finer holster, excuse me. You see that? You can adjust the cant and the ride on this. Super comfortable, best in the business. Get an additional $10 off right now with the offer code Dan. How do you get this offer again? wethepeopleholsters.com/Dan. wethepeopleholsters.com/Dan. Don't waste any more time. Go today. Get additional $10 off with the offer code Dan. All right. Bit of a humor break. Been a heavy show today. A really heavy show. So it's no mystery John Boehner didn't like the Tea Party. He claimed to be a Republican, but Boehner really couldn't stand the Tea Party. So Boehner has a book coming out. I don't even know the name of the book, so forgive me. But he was recording these audio books. I got this off Jonathan Swan's social media feed. And as he's recording it, I don't know, maybe he's had a glass of wine. I don't know. But listen to him at the end. Though. You have to listen all the way to the end. This is about 25, 30 seconds. He's recording the book. He sounds a little interesting, to say the least. And at the end, he just totally goes off on a tangent. This is hilarious for all the wrong reasons, but it is funny. Check this out.
Freedom means you can be a genius and invent new products that make you millions of dollars and helps millions of people. It means you're free to work your way to becoming the first in your family to go to college. It means you're free to reach as high as you want, no matter where you came from, even if you're a little kid sweeping a bar out in Southwest Ohio. Take it from me. You'll never know where you'll end up. That's freedom. I'll raise a glass to that any day. P.S. Ted Cruz, go f*** yourself.
Listen, I love Ted, okay? Ted's my guy, not a Boehner fan, but you got to admit, that's pretty funny. He's recording his audiobook. Now, I've written 5 books, I think, maybe more, 5 books. And I have recorded the audio on, I think, 4 of them. Recording an audiobook is, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. It's a little rough, Recording an audiobook. Do you ever read something out loud, an entire book, and you have to do it in like 2 days? So it's like a solid 8 to 10 hours of reading, depending on like a 70,000 word book take you about 2 days if you hammer it. By the time you're at the last chapter of the book, your brain is absolutely fried. So I find it hilarious that he probably had to throw out that whole segment, that he read the whole paragraph, probably cost himself hours and hours of re-recording. And in the end, he just throws in these insults to Ted Cruz. It's hilarious. It really marks the inefficiency of the Rhino movement before the Tea Party came along. It's cutting off his nose to spite his face. He had to read the book over, not Ted. Come on, that's funny at the end. You imagine that? The director, you get a director when you get these. Well, I record mine at home. One of my audiobooks, you had a director, and he'd always be like, nice guy, but he'd be like, you need to read that like this. Trust me, after like chapter 7, you're like, I'll read it whatever way I want. I'm done. Your brain is fried. If you buy the audio version, I shouldn't say, because I don't think I'm trying to get you to buy my book. But if you buy the audio version of Spygate, my second book, you at the end, you'll notice I start reading really fast. That's because it was the end, and I couldn't. I had to just go. I mean, not supposed to say that. It's okay. Pick it up now. You'll see. They'll love it. You'll see I start reading fast. I have been reading forever. But I never threw in an expletive about John Boehner. All right, moving on because I got important stuff. That was the humor break. Humor break's over. Back to serious stuff. So the hack media is desperate to distract you from the Democrat governor scandal in New York, Andrew Cuomo, a total abomination to humankind. So 60 Minutes decide they would faceplant and just make up a scandal about Ron DeSantis. I mean, like, just make it up out of thin air. So here it is. Get ready. I'll give you the fake scandal first, and I'll give you the truth afterwards. Fake scandal. Sum it up right here. Ron DeSantis was bribed to give coronavirus vaccines to his buddies. You're like, whoa, what? Explosive charge. Fire him immediately. DeSantis totally screwed it up. Taking bribes to vaccinate people. Well, what's the problem with the story? The problem is the story's just totally made up. It's like the Loch Ness Monster. Actually, there's more proof of the Loch Ness Monster than there is of the DeSantis story. Some people swear they've seen it. And there's like some footprint or something somewhere. So it's a bad analogy. There is more evidence of Nessie than there is that this story is true. So here's 60 Minutes, which again has zero credibility. Zero. I had 60 Minutes Australia at my house on a gun control story. I will never forget. It was 60 Minutes Australia trying to tell me how great gun control is. And he was telling me how successful it was in Australia. True story. You can still check out the interview. It's out there now. And I said to the interviewer, who knew nothing, I said, did you know there are more guns right now in Australia than there were before gun control? He was like, huh? What? And then I showed it to him on my phone. He's like, well, I guess you're right. Yes, I guess you're a moron. True story. So 60 Minutes is a scam site, a bunch of joker clowns. So they put out this social media post. They did a big expose on the fake scandal this weekend. Ron DeSantis, Nessie DeSantis took bribes to give vaccinations to his buddies. Here's one of the tweets they put out. That's 60 Minutes. Campaign finance reports obtained. Joe, obtained. They're obtained, Joe. Okay. Well, anyone could just go on. These are public, folks. They were not obtained. You could just go on the internet, and these are public records. Did you not know that? They act like they got it from like Deep Throat. Campaign finance obtained by what? A internet search? Campaign finance reports obtained by 60 Minutes show that weeks before Ron DeSantis announced a partnership with Publix grocery stores to distribute the vaccine in its pharmacies, wait for it, Publix donated $100,000 to his PAC. Oh, string him up by his ankles. This is insane. What is that? Bribed, I say, by Publix. Well, what's the problem with that story? Well, here is the Democrat. Let me add this a couple of times here because liberals really are not that bright. Here is the Democrat, Florida Director of Emergency Management. The Democrat, his name is Jared Moskowitz. He is a Democrat, again, for the third time, for liberals and 60 Minutes who are too stupid to figure this out. Here's him saying, this idea that Publix was picked is utter nonsense. We reached out to all pharmacies, and they were the only one who at the time could execute on the mission. The federal government delayed the federal pharmacy program, and we yet again stepped up first to serve more seniors. The dude is a Democrat. He's no friend to DeSantis. He's like, the story's totally made up. They were the first people we reached out to because they had some kind of a distribution network. Here's tweet number 2 from Jared Moskowitz. He tweets to 60 Minutes this time, who have a really hard time with facts and stuff like that. He says, 60 Minutes, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Publix was recommended by Florida CERT and Healthy Florida as the other pharmacies were not ready to start. Period. Full stop. No one from the governor's office suggested Publix. It's just absolute malarkey. I'm not sure how many people use the word malarkey anymore, but what else do you need to? This dude is a Democrat. He's not even a friend to DeSantis. And he's like, hey, fellas, at 60 Minutes, you're just totally making this up. Totally making this thing up. And what show would be complete without a video from Ron DeSantis himself, who the 60 Minutes lady who made up the whole story shows up and decides to ask Ron DeSantis a question at a press conference. Here is DeSantis again having absolutely none of this garbage and just firing back a bomb on this totally fake news, Nessie-like story. Now again, there's more evidence for Nessie than there is for this DeSantis story. Here's our man, big favorite on the show. Guy loves him, right? Yes, he does. Joe, you love DeSantis?
I do.
That's a deuce. Try Paula, you love this. Paula loves DeSantis. We got 4. Here's Ron DeSantis having none of this BS. Check this out.
They calculated that 90% of their seniors live within a mile and a half of a Publix. And they said, we think that would be the easiest thing for our residents. So we did that. And what ended up happening was you had 65 Publix in Palm Beach. Palm Beach is one of the biggest counties, one of the most elderly counties. We've done almost 75% of the seniors in Palm Beach. And the reason is because you have the strong retail footprint. So our way has been multifaceted. It has worked. And we're also now very much expanding CVS and Walgreens now that they've completed the long-term care mission. Yes. And it's wrong. It's wrong. It's a fake narrative. I just disabused you of the narrative, and you don't care about the facts because obviously I laid it out for you in a way that is irrefutable. And so it's clearly not. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Can someone inject more DeSantis right in the veins? Right in a big one right there. No, it's not an excuse to show off the pipes. It's right there, big juice, right there. More DeSantis right in there. Gee, right in there. Right in there. We're big fan. Even though DeSantis is not coming on the show. No, he doesn't want to, or at least anytime. That's okay. That's how much I like this guy. If someone named Trump doesn't run in 2024, he better be at the top of the list. I'm tired of these halfway crooks. We need, for all you New York City residents. Remember that one? Remember that was a good one growing up. I'm tired of them. Need the real deal. The story's total fake news. But again, liberals, your whole life's a lie. You believe it's somehow not racist to tell black people they're not smart enough to pick out their driver's license number. You think Andrew Cuomo's the Messiah. You think Hunter Biden's really a decent guy and so is his dad? You think Biden has all of his cognitive capabilities? Your whole life's a lie. Your whole life's a lie. Sorry. It's true. All right, folks. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget, May 24th, we go live with our national terrestrial radio program. 3 hours of DB from 12 noon to 3 Eastern every single day. Call your local radio station, email them, tweet them, Parler them, Facebook them, ask them if they're going to be running the Dan Bongino show, 12 noon to 3 Eastern. It's going to be, the podcast isn't going anywhere, again, but it'd be a little different. We may have newsmakers, and who knows, maybe we'll get Ron DeSantis on that show. I can tell you right now, I am planning for a huge first day launch on May 24th. Huge. You are not going to want to miss. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.